What's up guys, and welcome back to another replay cast. Today's game is from the ladder. It's a couple of seasons ago. I've deliberately sought out games from Snow where he plays under this Huang So Juguri. I can never say it, bro, but it's his sort of troll alias where he tanks his MMR sometimes right down to around about C rank, and then he plays it all the way up to S rank again as well. His opponent is a pretty solid semi-pro, so I think he's playing under the Smurf name Prime today. So I think it's going to be a good game, and I think at the time that Snow was playing under this alias, it became pretty well known as his Smurfing account. I remember there's some videos on Artosis's channel where he doesn't necessarily know it's Snow originally, and then he discovers that it's Snow, and then Scan comes to visit him. He's still living in Korea at the time, and then Scan plays as Artosis. So this alias became pretty well known and associated with the feet on the keyboard and the laughing Snow memes and all those good things. So I kind of thought to myself, I've now got the resources to go back and look for specific games, and Snow was prone to do fun things in Protoss versus Terran specifically. Examples include like mass Reaver builds. He obviously does a lot of carriers. I think one of the funniest ones we watched was where he did mass scouts. So I have a game on my channel that's done very well where Snow went mass scouts in a PvT. So I've also got a game on my channel where he went mass arbiter. And when I say mass arbiter, I mean like mass arbiter. He had like 14 arbiters at a time. So I guess the point that I'm trying to make is under the Huang Sojugiri alias, you just genuinely do not know what you're going to get, and I think that's what makes these games genuinely very, very exciting. So I am looking forward to bringing you this game today. If you guys do enjoy it, then please do hit that like button so that others can discover it as well. And here we go, let's get into the action. So Prime hasn't hit an amazing timing on his first factory. About 237 or so is not fantastic, but we will keep an eye on how things progress. Looks like Snow's just opening relatively standard. He isn't going range, so I think he may just do a 1 Dragoon expand. It is close spawn, so it is punishable technically by a strong Terran. So we will see what, if any, reaction we do get from our Terran player today. Alright, so we've made 3 Marines so far. We are posturing in a way that makes me think perhaps he's got some intentions here, just to perhaps put a bit of pressure on. Ooh, immediate machine shop. Yep, that's definitely a sign that we are meaning business here as our Terran, and also going up to a 5th Marine. So this is going to be a tank Marine push. Our friend Snow's micro will be tested for sure. Still has his probe here. I beg your pardon. He's now pushed forward with his first Dragoon just to confirm what his Terran opponent's doing. He would have countered the Marines and he would have a sense of what's coming. He is getting range. He's making another Dragoon. Snow's micro, as we all know, is incredibly good. I think I didn't really appreciate how good his micro was until I watched the ASL semi-final. There was just really, really unbelievable to watch. So we're making a battery. We know we're... Oh, nice little snipe from the probe there. We're making a battery. We know to expect some pressure from our Terran. He is going mines behind this. I think it's a transitional push. So what I mean is, if it doesn't work, he probably will expand behind it. But let's see how this does go. We're going to have, at the time that this arrives, we're going to have 4 Dragoons. I love the stones of Snow, right? Like, if your average Protoss is playing here, they are rushing as many gateways as they can. He's like, nah, I'll just make a pylon, I'll wall it in, I'll do it off of 1 gateway, I'll get my robo up first, then I'll suppose I can make 2 gates, you know, whereas most people would just sort of immediately rush up to 3 gate goon range, cut probes. You know, you don't want to die to something like this, but You know, when you're as good as Snow is, I think you probably just back your micro. This is walled in a very specific way that makes, you know, he can hit when the range comes. And so he should be able to hit in this area pretty well, with it being a bit awkward with bugging the AI from the Terran side to not shoot the buildings and to shoot the units. So you can see that's kind of the plan that he's following here. So just posturing back and forward to protect his goons. This buys him time, right? So killing this pylon is creating valuable seconds. He's intentionally built 2 pylons so that the battery will be powered for a while. But this additional time that he's buying is going to get him 2 zealots. Now the zealots are being made presumably to trip mines. He is making an observer as well. No shuttle yet, but I expect that'll happen soon. It's also going up to a 3rd gateway. So you should just see a little bit of patience here from Snow in holding this. Prime is going command center behind this, but he's just saving up a little bit too much money for my liking. We are now getting a shuttle here as well. So all those buildings have been cleared, but it probably bought Snow, I don't know, about 40 seconds of additional time. That really does matter. So we're bunkering up here. We're just treating Snow like a, you know, a plebby Protoss that we can just bully on the ladder. And Snow, for the time being, is just hemorrhaging a couple of probes. The siege tank has sieged up in range of the mineral line. Does have probably this vulture spotting for him. Okay, so we do have our little shuttle coming around the back. And our observer sees what's happening. No turrets are being made, so here it comes. So the first drop, second drop, it's a couple of friendly mine drags. Oh my god, not a couple, like a fair few. Concurrently sending in our goons. And I think he's going to be able to tidy this up without much of a hassle at all. And after this initial push or pressure from our Terran, I expect this game should normalize now. Sending another tank, but I think that'll be the last of it. Trying to get past this to the tanks. Did make turrets, but I think probably the only flaw in this approach is that the observer was able to just park above here, uninhibited by turrets, and that really did help Snow in his attempts to hold this down. So he's probing up again, he's making support bay, he's expanding to a 3rd. So minimal damage taken, and a very calm transition into the next phase of the game. To be fair to Prime, he's also doing the same thing, same work account. He's now pumping out factories. Seems to be struggling with his gas at the moment. I think it's just because he made so many tanks in the early game. So my expectation now is that he'll probably pump a few more vultures and run a balanced build on 2 gases. So Snow comes in here, sees the expansion, and understands that Terran will likely just siege up on the high ground, and he won't be facing too much pressure for the time being. This Nexus looks awkwardly placed, but I mean obviously it's in the right place. It just looks weird. Sometimes you just look at a building and you're like, that doesn't feel like that should fit there, but it does. Okay, so shuttle speed coming in, so we're going to get some Reaver play presumably. We don't have a Reaver in the production tab yet, but you don't get shuttle speed for Christmas. Do you know what I mean? You get it if you have some intentions. I think Snow's also planning on taking a 4th already behind this. He's just spotted this Marine, so needs to tidy that up. I beg your pardon, not a 4th, a 5th, because, you know, why not? And that's the trade-off if you're a Terran player, right? If you're going to push and not win the game, it does really open the door for Snow to expand pretty quickly. And something that I will say, as somebody who has been a massive Snow fan and all of the time that I've done casting, is the question I've always had myself is what enables Snow to do whatever he wants? And the answer is not his micro. I think his micro is excellent, but when I say do whatever he wants, to do these builds that are not builds, why is it that he can do them and he can win? Nice harassment here from this Terran player, picking up a decent couple of probes there. And the answer is simple. It's his macro, right? So he gets a massive base count, and a nice distribution and saturation of workers, and then he almost gets to this phase of the game where he has unlimited money. And so you are able to, as Protoss, pretty much do any build you want, simply because your ability to replenish your army is just way too strong. And that's what he does here. He just wins with superior macro. He gets a lead in the early game with stuff like this. So this Reaver micro, this double damage. Number one, the friendly fire from the siege tanks, and number two, the scarabs. It really helps. It slows his opponent down, and because his multitasking is so good, he's able to continuously expand behind this. He's up to base number 5, so he can slow you down while speeding up, right? So that gap obviously scales incredibly well, and that's kind of the reason why he's such a beast in this particular match. So Prime, to his credit, is taking a third. 3 basing Terran will almost always give you a 20-minute plus game. There aren't too many scenarios where you can kind of just insta-die on that kind of base count, especially when you've got 5 producing factories and you're hitting most of your macro cycles. So I think Snow knows he's definitely in for a game. Oh wow, okay, we've got something interesting happening here, guys. We see some Stargates in the production tab. Where are they? Here they are. Alright, so the question is he going to go carrier? He doesn't actually see this. Sorry, I'm seeing a little bit of drop action here. Pretty well handled, actually, to be honest. Good blocking. And the supplies are basically even. He scanned, and we saw that he didn't actually get the bottom corner of the base. We'll keep our headset peeled for more scan noises. There we go. Sees it now. Okay, so he sees the Stargates moving and the second cyber core. So I reckon you're probably just going to assume carriers if you are Terran and make Goliath. He's getting Charon booster and adding a few more factories. We can see that Snow is actually going double robo scout. So this is a Reaver scout build. Not a thing, but of course, as I said before, Snow just makes things for lack of a better way of saying that. It's good. It's very good. And I think that our Terran smells a window to push. And if you're assuming you're playing against carriers, this is exactly the right time to push. This is going to be scary. This is really going to be difficult to stop. What upgrades are we up against here? So we're just +1. I doubt that Snow has any upgrades on his units. In fact, he's just counter pushing himself with no upgrades of any kind. Just got basically tier 1 units. So splitting the attention here is going to sack this Nexus. And the rallying factory units from the main, as well as the retreating tanks, should make relatively light work of this. Also getting scarab damage. Bolters have come in here and killed heaps. Ah, the scouts have shown themselves. Okay, so he knows it's scouts now and it's not carriers. We'll slow him down. He has also pulled these probes, which are now in a little bit of trouble, and our game is in a chaotic phase. So some of these Dragoons have survived. Safely still running here on 3 bases, but I do like the counterplay with the Dragoons. He has a few Reavers as well. We all know what the world looks like with Reavers in Snow's hand. It's a scary world for Terran players, for sure. Does get one scarab off. Now the scouts are going to fight the tanks, as you would expect. A nice Reaver scout, but that scarab did some serious work. That was beautiful. Seems to be the only place where we've got some action. So supplies are pretty equal at the moment. No upgrades yet on our scouts. More scouts coming in from the rally. Now I want to try and take these scouts on by adding in Goliaths, but of course as soon as the ground units are there, Snow is able to bring the Reavers into the game. And this is what it's all about. Getting damage with the Reavers to basically kill the Goliaths, and then when the Goliaths are gone, to take down the tanks This is quite something. You do not see Broodwar like this every day. It's just fun. It really is fun. That's the whole idea. Just see something different. So he's got to chase back now. Getting a lot done with scouts. Scouts aren't bad, you're bad. Ah, this Vulture is having a good day. 11 kills. Oh my god. Very, very sloppy from Snow. He's going to have to remake himself a lot of probes. Probably just enjoying microing these scouts too much. And not paying attention to the fact that he's hemorrhaging units to Vernon the Vulture over here. I think the scouts are going to go tidy him up. So we've got a spread. We've actually taken a base down here. I like this from Prime. I think he's got a little bit of ascendancy in the sense that Snow is for the most part in a defensive posture. Although he may start flying around here. Does he even have the speed upgrade? These scouts seem like they're going real slow, bro. I think you need the fleet beacon to have those upgrades, and I don't see a fleet beacon anywhere. So that's fascinating. He doesn't even just have scouts. He's got like unupgraded slow ass scouts. They don't have the range upgrade. I don't have anything. So loses his units. I don't think he was planning to expand here with Snow. I think he was just delaying the expansion of Terran himself. He's probably not expecting Terran to have expanded down here on the bottom right. But he'll be flying around to see what's happening there shortly, I would think. Another Nexus is on the way. Just retaking this space here that he lost. Dragoons will happily fight against Goliaths all day. It's fun unit comps, no doubt. So 136 plays 116. 4 bases for our Terran. Going back up to 5 bases now is our Protoss. But I expect that Snow will be looking to expand again really soon. That's why he's got this probe here. So pressuring here is our Terran. I do like that Snow manages to find these little windows, these openings with these Dragoons without sort of totally tanking his army. It's certainly an underrated skill and a lot harder to do than what I think he makes it look. Whee! Reaver! So it's finding a decent opening here as well. These Reavers are getting into a pretty dangerous spot. We've expanded again here as our Terran. We will show that in a moment. Brings the scouts into the game as well. But the Goliaths don't quite know what to fire at, which is what makes this so fun. So it does tidy up the balance of the Reavers. Trying to target down these tanks. What are the upgrades looking like now? Okay, so we got +2. Do we have anything on our scouts? +1 on our scouts. So we have expanded here and here. So very, very, very aggressive expansion pattern from our Terran, and I think he could find himself in a bit of trouble there. We're making more scout. We're finally making a fleet beacon, guys, so we might get some scout upgrades like sight range. I think the scout upgrades are speed and attack range. We've been picking off some tanks with some slow ass scouts. It's just critical mass, hey. That's all it takes. We're not even upgrading air weapons. Who needs upgrades? Scouts aren't bad, you're bad. So again, running around. No, oh there, I was going to say, he does have an observer escort. Doesn't stop him eating a bunch of mines though. So the probe is like, what? What are you doing here? This is my base. How dare you? Just kind of chilling here with the scouts. I think from Terran's point of view, the composition is the pain, right? Like, how do you fight this weird... This is such a good summary of what he's playing with. Reaver, Dragoon, Scout. Let's go. Like, it's a beautiful combination. Really, really is. $81 probes though, so sorry, 81 SCVs from our Terran, so he's predominantly worker man. Snow's kind of stuck with a sweet spot of 65. He's going to cannon rush this command center because why not? And he's going to take down this unprotected command center as well. And that's the problem with these expansion patterns. It's forcing you to move a very slow, clunky mechanical army southwards down the map. And Snow has a somewhat more agile... He's getting this faster scout movement upgrade now, finally. Somewhat more agile army, which you as a Protoss have in general all the time. But specifically here with flying units. And here he comes now to support the tidying up of this base. And I'm afraid our Terran has pretty much got to sack all of these outer bases because he just doesn't have the mobility to defend them. A reasonable play is to counter push. But even that, Protoss does have the opportunity to pull his army back when needed. So Reaver's going to be doing the defending here. I mean, Prime is a beast. He's playing at 400 APM, right? He's no slouch, but damn, this is... Uh-oh. Oof. So we've pretty much got Reavers and not much else here. He's got a very, very low army count, has our Terran. His workers, though... Okay, so perhaps not as low because he lost about 40 workers to these scouts. And I don't know if Snow's going to hold this off with 2 Reavers. I know he's good, but I think he's going to have to call for reinforcements. There's a lot of Goliaths here too, so it's going to require some kind of micro. Base is gone. Snow does have, though, the bottom left and natural as well, so I think he'll be okay. And he's not engaging with the army directly, which is also tactically really clever. It's like, nah, I'm good. I'll just play counter pushing and picking off your tanks as they reinforce and potentially picking up a whole host of additional SCVs. He can fight these Goliaths in pods. They're obviously very playable in that sense. It's kind of everybody in a little bit of a quiet holding pattern now. I think our Terran is going to try and do one last hurrah. It's a lot of them scouts, man. Oh! The Scarabs with the damage upgrade. Holy crap. He may just hold us off with freaking Reavers, man. Does come in. He's just constantly catching the reinforcements from the rallying factories with the scouts, which I think is a very, very clever way to slowly but surely wear this chap down. He's going to kill the remaining SCVs. He can really do nothing much about it. So although he's lost his natural, it really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. He can reinforce from his gateways. He can pick off workers. He's picked off what's left. And I imagine, if necessary, he could come and tidy the army up. But Terran is graceful enough to bow out and GG. And that's it, guys. That is the legend of Huang So Jiguri, the troll Snow account, who played many a fun game on the ladder like this with scouts. And I think he did it for stream content. He did it to amuse us. And I very, very much enjoy it. I know some people don't like the fact that, I guess in inverted commas, he's smurfing. But that being said, I've seen him do this to S rank, high S rank players as well. He's just good. He's just really, really elite, and he makes impossible builds look easy and fun. So I hope you enjoyed today's game, guys. I really enjoyed bringing it to you. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, take it easy. Ciao for now.